Hello and welcome to Called Bank Sports. The Utah Jazz won a absolutely wild game tonight against the Charlotte Hornets, and a game that, frankly, I feel like is almost a culmination of the Spurs and the Wizards game from this previous weekend, where the Jazz looked like they were going to absolutely demolish the Hornets in the first quarter, allowed the Hornets to get back in it, in the second and third, and then frankly looked like they could possibly drop it in the last few minutes. But they were able to win the game, and frankly, kind of a shocker, they were able to win the game based on Rudy Gobert's absolutely amazing free throw percentage tonight. And it's not like he went 2 for 2 or something, making a really good percentage on a small portion of shots. He went, let me pull this up just to make sure I'm reading this right. He went from the line 15 of 16, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Now, when you do look at the starters, he does have the lowest plus score. He's +4 when everyone else is in double digits. But that is just absolutely astounding. Gobert had a great night from the line, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come. In his post-game interview on the radio, he said that he's a good free throw shooter and that he just needs to start being able to make them in games, which is something I feel like you hear a lot about centers and about players who have a really poor percentage from the free throw line, is that they're confident in their skills, at least in practice, but putting it together in the pressure situation of the game is just challenging for them. And I really think that if the Jazz are able to all of a sudden see Rudy Gobert, go from a low 60s from the line to a low 70s, that'll be a big positive, and just frankly continue to make him an even better offensive player. He's averaging around 15, 16 points this year, which obviously isn't a lot, but is really big for Gobert to be able to get those from the line, to be able to be shooting as well from inside the paint as he is, and to just be an overall just significantly more impactful player on the offensive end, while still being an absolutely astounding player on the defensive end. Now, tonight's game, while that's obviously a positive, Gobert shooting so well from the line, is overall kind of just more of a concerning game for me as a Jazz fan. It's the fact that you almost gave the game away to the Hornets, who, to be fair, have the second net rating, the second highest offensive rating behind the Jazz. So I apologize. It looks like the Atlanta Hawks must have played tonight and surpassed the surpassed the Hornets. But the Hornets currently have the third best offensive rating in the league. The Jazz are the best at 116.8, but I mean, the Hornets are still doing 112.7, which is really good. But what gets concerning is the fact that the Hornets also have the worst defensive rating in the league. So really, overall, the Jazz should have played a lot better than they did tonight. And it's great to see them win when they weren't shooting well, which is something I really haven't got into. But they took 96 shots and made 34 tonight, which is 35.4% from the field. And that's just mind-boggling. And they also still took less shots than the Hornets, who took 101. And the reason that I'm floored that they took less shots than the Hornets is because the Jazz had a total of 22 offensive rebounds compared to 11 for the Hornets. And they only turned the ball over 4 more times than the Hornets at 17-13, which is still really bad. But overall, that shot difference had a lot to do with free throws, but it shows a lot of concern on the Jazz being able to not capitalize to the level that they should off of offensive rebounds, and also not being able to keep the ball to the level that I believe a championship team has to. You can't give the other team free possessions, and they were able to pull it out tonight with a stellar defensive performance. But it's just, when it comes down to the fact that you won the game based on the fact that you shot 37 free throws compared to 9 free throws for the Hornets, and the Hornets had 11 more fouls than the Jazz, 25-14. It just overall feels like this was the scales going in the Jazz's direction more than the Jazz being able to pull out a solid win against a team that they should be able to beat. And to be fair, games are going to bounce in the Jazz's favor, in the favor of the Jazz now and then. I think a lot of people think that the Memphis loss, the New Orleans loss, and even the Spurs and the Wizards loss, their last 4 losses that have frankly just been really disappointing losses, were just games that the Jazz could have won had things went slightly differently. So this was the game kind of trying to balance the scale where the Jazz got lucky, and their skill was finally able to allow them to beat a team that they should beat. And it was definitely close. The fact that you squandered a 22-point lead and allowed the Hornets to take a lead in crunch time at the end of the game, I'm sure scared a lot of Jazz fans. But thankfully they pulled this one off and are live to fight another day. Their next game is going to be this Wednesday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that will lead into a 2-day rest before they play the Dallas Mavericks. And if you want to hear Dale and my thoughts on if that game is, even going to happen, and with all of the COVID things going on, you can listen to our last weekly podcast. But thank you guys so much again. We really appreciate everyone watching wherever you're at. Please follow if you appreciate our content. Please leave a like, comment. We love continuing the discussion. Just so you guys know, Dale and I will continue to do post games over the holiday season, but we are going to take a break doing our weekly episodes for Christmas and New Year's. So thanks again, and go Jazz.